Welcome to Webinar Wednesday, everybody. We hold these every other Wednesday. So the next one will be December 1st. And we are going to have Dr. Alla List back. She's with Revive and Fargo and is very popular and people love listening to her speak. And so she is going to talk about COVID in the brain. And today with us, though, we have Reagan Linder with Synapse. And Reagan reached out to us to kind of explain what they do. And I thought this would be a good opportunity to her to share it with all of us. So I want to hear about Synapse and how that came to be. And she's with Iowa State University. So I will let you take it away, Reagan.
All right. Thank you for having me. Hi, guys. My name is Reagan, and I am a senior here at Iowa State University. And I am the founder of our chapter of Synapse, and it is an organization that was started in 2016 at Stanford. And what Synapse does is we work to build social support around individuals with brain injury. And we do that by hosting peer support groups twice a month. We have a buddy system between individuals with brain injury and our students. And then we bring speakers to campus to kind of spread awareness among the college population, at least. And so Synapse, again, was founded in 2016, and since then has popped up at a lot of universities across the country, but most of them have been in big cities or especially more coastal states. So along with the University of Chicago, we are the first more rural Midwestern chapter. And so, yeah, I wanted to reach out to more rural populations, especially in the Midwest. We have been working on building a new support group. Lately, we've been in executive board turnover. So some people are leaving, we're taking some new people in. And with that, we are trying to figure out what our next move is for support group. We've done support groups for young adults in the Midwest. And that was in collaboration. Well, we did that, and then we did young adults in Iowa, and that was in collaboration with the Brain Injury Alliance of Iowa. And now we are just brainstorming, thinking about what demographic. I'm thinking Midwest, maybe all ages. And we have these meetings and we talk about a variety of things. Maybe one week we'll have a specific topic, and then another week we will just have the attendees guide the conversation. And the interesting thing about Synapse is that it's all student-led. The Synapse National Board is led by individuals who have maybe started their own chapter and then graduated and gone on to a whole variety of careers, really. And they lead students into building their chapters and just becoming a support system in their community. And if you're us and the University of Chicago, beyond. So yeah, that's kind of a quick overview of what Synapse is and what we do.
Great. So about how many in Iowa State, like how many members do you have, or how many come to groups?
Yeah. So we had about 8 to 9 individuals come to support groups before we took a quick pause to kind of reevaluate. And in the students, there's about 6 students on the executive board and then 30 students in the general. And so, yeah, we got a lot of people wanting to contribute, which I think is really cool.
How do you guys go about generating, so what would be like first steps? Can you explain to us if we wanted to start a Synapse at North Dakota, what that would look like? Yeah, just kind of explain first steps, please.
Yeah, so I received an email from Synapse National my freshman year, so a long time ago. And they were just looking for individuals to they were looking for interest. And I have a family member with brain injury, so it kind of struck a chord with me. And since then, it's been very rewarding. But for North Dakota to get their Synapse, it would be individuals at North Dakota universities. I'm not sure. I'm guessing you guys have North Dakota State University, something like that.
We do. We have, well,
But
we
yeah,
have several,
they,
we have a university system. So ND Bin, we are housed on the UND University of North Dakota campus. And then we also have NDSU, North Dakota State University, which is in Fargo, but then Bismarck has colleges. And yeah, we have quite a few state universities throughout North Dakota. So I was wondering, do you guys ever meet virtually, or is it always in person on campus?
it's always been virtual with our chapter. Yep. So just because when we started to found it was a couple months before COVID really set in. And because of that, we've adjusted to kind of broaden our reach because since we are in kind of the middle of nowhere, Iowa, it's hard for people to come to meetings. And so we just decided that we should try and make it as inclusive and easy to attend as possible.
Great, great. Let me think, what else can I ask you about? So tell me about the buddy system. How does the buddy system work?
Yeah, so we have not yet established our buddy system with COVID. We've decided to wait until it's a little more under control, but once we do, we will match. Well, we'll have an interest survey, gather interest, and people who may attend our support groups, or they don't have to attend our support groups, they may just be in the community or nearby, will kind of fill out a personality survey, their interests, what they want out of it. And through that and our student surveys, we'll match them with a student or with another individual with brain injury. And then depending on how far apart they are, they will either get together twice a month or just meet online. So some events that have been successful for other chapters in the past have been like going to a movie, getting ice cream, like pottery nights, a lot of craft nights. And then there's also group activities where everyone comes together and it's like a group of 30, say like 15 pairs, and they just we just get to socialize and get to know each other. And yeah, it's a good time.
Great, great. Do you guys ever help with like people needing supports as far as like academic accommodations and things like that? Does that ever come up, or is it more the social
Yeah.
things?
Yeah, so we have advocated for students with brain injury who have come to either our university or we've done other Iowa universities, who may come to us and kind of say that they're not receiving the accommodations that they need. And so we've reached out to, usually it's student disability service centers in the past, and just set up meetings with them and really explained what brain injury is, how much it can affect, and how students may need like just a wide array of different accommodations depending on what their needs are. And so that's been one thing that we've had a lot of success with, is just being able to communicate that with kind of higher up authorities who may not understand.
Yes, yeah, yes, we have DSS on our campuses as well, and they seem great to work with. But Andy Bin will also do that. We'll go with and or, be a part of those meetings if the individual wants us to be, I guess, because it can be kind of hard asking for help, that for at least that first time.
Yeah.
For support. So especially if your brain injury happened between like high school and college too, or you got a lot of support in high school and now at the college level you don't get as much. So we try to help
Exactly.
facilitate that as well.
Yeah,
Right.
one good thing, we had a student go on to actually at the University of Iowa. She was involved and she worked with like the individuals in the Student Disability Service Center, and kind of reformed what they were doing for students with either brain injury or other neurological injuries, or I don't know, not deficit is the word, but just conditions. And she was awesome.
Great. So is there a cost associated with joining Synapse or being like a member, as far as like your end, or does the university, how does that work as far as money?
Nope, there is not a cost. It's a nonprofit. It's labeled as a nonprofit, and so our students pay dues, and it's just $10 a year. But those are individuals who are usually working. And we also have some fundraising events. And the Synapse National gives out grants to each chapter. And then our individual universities will give us grants as well. So we kind of thrive off of that.
Great. What questions does the audience have? This is going to be kind of fast and furious. Reagan has class soon, so we just we thought we'd do kind of more of like a Q&A style and just kind of hear about the program. And then I would love, if you're interested in starting one in North Dakota, I would love to help out and help facilitate that. Does anyone else have questions for Reagan as far as this process or what Synapse does? Would you have used it at college, or are you a college student that would find it helpful? You can unmute or you can type in the chat. We're not scary, I promise.
While they're thinking, I have a link to our national website that I'm going to go ahead and send in the chat.
Perfect. I was just going to do the same thing.
Yep. And then we're working on our individual website. It should be up in the next couple of weeks. So that's very exciting, but the national one for now.
Reagan, have you noticed with, I know I'm on the accommodation train, but I'm a special ed teacher by trade, so it's always interesting to me, but is there certain accommodations that you guys have noticed help better with brain injuries than others, or ones that students really?
Yeah, one thing that we've seen a lot is students with vision problems due to their brain injury. And because of that, we've kind of gotten more professors to reserve a couple seats in the front row for people who may have vision problems, or they will send out the slides to their presentation beforehand. So students can pull it up on their individual laptops and change the dimness of their laptop to adjust to brightness. And that's usually a bit more comfortable for them.
Yes, and I hear a lot about smart pens for my college students too. I don't know if you guys have anyone that uses one, but if you guys aren't familiar with smart pens, there's a few different brands out there now, I think, but it will, the most use I've heard of it used for is, you do have to use special paper, but when lectures are going on and you're taking notes, you can kind of like mark a star, a special mark on your paper, and it will start recording whatever's going on around you, the lecture going on. And so then when you're going back and studying and reviewing your notes, you can click where you had it record and it will read to you whatever was being said at that time. It will play it back to you. And I know I've heard that that's, and some of my high school kids were trying with too. Here in North Dakota, guys, we have ND Assist. They have offices in Fargo and in Bismarck, but they serve the whole state, and they have a loaner program. So you can call and say, hey, I want to try out this smart pen before you buy it, because they can be pretty expensive. I think they're, in the hundreds of $200 to $300 probably. And so just to try it before you buy it, I would highly recommend to see if it's something you would like. And ND Assist can do they can do a meeting like this on Zoom, or you can go there in person, but they're very, very knowledgeable staff there, and they can explain all of that, how a smart pen works, or really any assistive technology that would interest you. But I do know, I've heard a lot of good things about the smart pens.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I might try to look into seeing if the university can get some of those for renting out.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, for people to try. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest downside is the paper, needing that special paper. And I
Mhm.
don't know the cost of that paper either, but it won't, I think it will write on normal paper, but it won't record unless it's
Okay.
that special paper, is my understanding. But yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
very
I'm
cool.
looking at their website here and it looks like they have California, University of California, Berkeley, Brown, Chicago, Columbia, Cornell, Emory, Harvard, Iowa, University of Maryland, Massachusetts, Oregon, Pittsburgh, Stanford, Los Angeles, UC Los Angeles, Virginia, Virginia Tech, and University of Washington. So yeah, you guys have quite the chapters, and here I can even share my screen and show these guys some of this stuff on here while we're so here's that Synapse website that Reagan put in the chat for you, but this is where their chapters are. But if you even just go to their homepage, kind of talks about what they provide and some info on brain injury in general. And here it goes into more in depth about the peer support, the buddy program, and then educational type events. So let's start a chapter, guys. Let's get it going in North Dakota. I think that'd be awesome, especially if we got all of our campuses involved. I think if it was like, do you ever see that where it's a statewide type? Because I know you said you work with people throughout Iowa, but
Yeah. So I believe the application cycle starts around December. And since this is about, oh man, about coming up on 6 years old, they try to grab one in each like big city or state. And so they were starting something new with the more rural ones, but since they've found success, I hope they continue to keep looking towards rural areas.
hi Shirley.
Hi. I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Is there a chapter at the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis?
I don't see one
There is
on there.
not yet, but I will tell them to look out for, yeah, for any applicants, because that would be a great place to have one.
I do, yeah, U of M's campus is huge, and you have a lot of, they have Duluth and Minneapolis and Crookston, and there's all throughout Minnesota, so that would be a
Okay.
good one too. Yeah.
Well, I'm not a student, I'm retired, but I had a stroke several years ago.
Mhm.
And so stroke would fit into brain injury. And so from listening to you guys talk, this would be very helpful for anyone who's had any kind of, brain injury and trying to go to school or just continue on surviving life.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a little difficult reaching individuals with brain injury just in a lower populated area compared to the other chapters, but it definitely is finding like individuals who do need the help, especially students. It's a difficult time.
I don't even know how I got on a mailing list. I just got an email that said brain injury. And anytime anything comes in with brain injury, I always take a look at it. And so that's how I ended up in your webinar.
That's awesome. I wonder, Synapse National, at least a lot of the chapters have online events. And we have a couple, like last year we had seizure first aid certification online, and I believe it's there's the upcoming Synapse events, and they're all online, I believe. Most of them should be, but yeah, there's
And are they free,
a wide
Reagan? I
array of,
haven't clicked on like view event yet, but is there a cost
yep,
with these, do you know?
yeah, they're free.
They're free, cool, very cool. So yeah, these would be interest some of you on here too. Building brain injury awareness. That's a full day. Yeah, there's a ton of them on here. That might be very interesting. So I'm on that. I am where she put the link, and I'm just under events along the top. And so it looks like they have a lot. Oh, here's the seizure first aid certified. Cool. I didn't know that that was a thing you could be.
Mhm. Now, the one that you mentioned about COVID in the brain,
Yes.
I would like to that.
Yeah, that is next week, or sorry, in 2 weeks. Same spot though. I'm gonna put in the chat for you so you can see where our webinars are. And we have all of our old webinars recorded as well, Shirley. So if you ever wanted to go back and watch some old ones.
Okay.
But here's where you can find them. And then we do give out CEUs too for anyone interested in that. For social work and just a general certificate as well. But yeah, these webinars we started about, well, when was the first one? It was 2019, November of 2019. So we're coming up on 2 years now of doing these. So, or we're at 2 years, I guess. And so they've become very popular, and we've got a wide variety of topics on here, and different speakers like Reagan and different places. So check those out too. Anyone have any questions before we log off? I know it was short and sweet, but Reagan's got class at 2:10. Don't want her to be late. Reagan, what's your major? That was one thing you're a senior, so.
Yep. So I'm studying psychology and biology right now. It's the closest thing I could get to a neuro major.
I was a biology major when I was in undergrad.
Yeah. Did you enjoy it? I'm assuming you did.
I loved it. I ended up being a biology teacher. I changed over to education because all the chemistry and physics was just a little bit too much for me. So I switched over to education. So I taught biology for many, many years. I'm retired now.
Yeah, that's actually one thing I'm considering is getting my teaching credentials once I graduate and doing a biology and maybe chemistry teaching. I feel like that would be a very rewarding life.
Well, like I said, the chemistry gave me trouble. So I had to go before the dean and plead my case, and he let me minor in library science. And I retired as a media specialist from high school media specialist. So that was a good combination for me.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yes, awesome. Yeah, we need more neuropsychs too. You should become a neuropsych, or everywhere does. I assume Iowa does too. We do in North Dakota, so.
Yeah, that sounds right up my alley. We just don't have it at Iowa State. So
sure. I don't even quite know who does have it. Yeah, what universities have it on their campus, but doesn't seem like enough because literally in our whole state we have 5. And our state is very geographically spread out. We don't have a huge population, but we're big geographically. And so for someone to get a neuropsych, they have to travel pretty far because most of them live all in the one Fargo, which is kind of our biggest populated area. And so most of them live there. And so if you don't live in Fargo, you gotta trek across the state to get a neuropsych exam. So
yeah.
Oh, well, I don't see any more questions. Is anybody last call for questions? Otherwise, I'm going to let Reagan go to class, and it'll be 30. I'll give you 30 minutes on your CEUs.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Reagan. It was great to meet you. And if we do decide to go ahead with the chapter and get any interest, I might bug you more about the details and stuff now that we have a contact. But
all right, sounds good. Yeah, I'll let the national team know.
Awesome. Have a great day.
All righty.
Thank you, guys.
This was very informative. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Shirley. Yeah, keep joining us.
So if I want to keep joining, I go to that